One, and hit the record button now. Okay. KK. I got money. Money in the bank. G Unit. You know, I played the song, but they probably will copyright me for it. That's one thing I like. Everything time Money in the Bank comes around, I just like saying that part of the song because it was still a great song at one point. Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But yes, Money in the Bank. Hello out there. Hello everyone. Hope everybody out there is having a safe and fun holiday. 4th of July weekend. Money in the Bank. Saturday, Las Vegas. Well, this review is being on Sunday right now, but yes, Saturday, Las Vegas, MGM Grand Arena. Well, it was supposed to be at Alignment Stadium, but since nobody didn't really want to buy, I guess the tickets weren't that high in demand, and I didn't really think Money in the Bank was going to sell out the stadium anyways. They ended up having to go to a smaller venue. But first, let my co-host today introduce himself for this review.
Yes. My name is Kyle Coleman. Thank you for letting me you know, be on this review. Yeah, I've been on here before. So yeah, thank you.
No problem, no problem. But yeah, Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. In a way, this somewhat kind of came and went by in some ways. This review, not review, but this show, it wasn't a bad show. I didn't think it was bad. It had a lot of good parts on it. Some I found a little bit questionable, but we're gonna get into that throughout this whole review. But yeah, Money in the Bank kicking off. Other than all the announcers wearing green out there, we kick it off with the women's Money in the Bank match. Lacey Evans,
Right.
Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, I guess can't say Gonzalez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch. That kicked off the show. Hot start. Crowd was
Hey,
into it. Um,
and,
Pretty botchy at sometimes. I
yeah,
thought.
it was pretty rough. I had
Yep.
went back and watched that match. Remember, I told you I had like missed the first two matches, but when I kind of rewatched I rewatched the women Money in the Bank. And man, I thought, man, some of them were gonna, man, get messed up for real. But
Yeah,
they all persevered, and it was got through it.
it was some rough spots out there. Like it really was. Either I felt like either half the ladders were gonna break, or a lot of them kept slipping out there. Um, one thing that caught my attention was when Becky climbed up the ladder to like do almost like a senton or a leg drop on the Oscar on the ladder. Like the ladder didn't even break.
And man, those was some 30 ladders. Most of those ladders were breaking. They was just bouncing off of them. Even during the men Money in the Bank, those was some 30 ladders.
Yeah, they just bounced off that stuff. Like it did not break in half
I
at all.
wonder, I wonder, like, what hurt more, you bounce it off of it or to break it through the ladder? Because in both situations, you going towards something that's like unbreakable, but you could bounce it off of it or going through some a wooded ladder. I wonder what hurt more.
Uh I want to say maybe on I don't know going. I feel like if it doesn't break and you just bounce off it, it looks a little bit more painful. Because even it was like one part when which part was it? I don't know if it was Shotzi or whatnot. I think hit Bliss with like the electric chair onto the ladder
Right.
backwards, and that looked brutal. I'm almost
Looked like she
surprised.
hit the back of her head.
Yeah, it did. I was like, ugh. I was like, damn, that was like near her head right there. That looked pretty painful. I thought. It was like I say, like usually I expect Shotzi, especially do some crazy stuff in this type of match because we've seen her jump off of shit and damn near kill herself half the time.
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
I know they had Raquel use her power picking up the ladder. But then they're lifting people up while the ladder, while they're holding on to the ladder. Because I know they were like using a lot of power with her out there to take down people. You know, it was one thing I noticed when a lot of them were getting up the ladder trying to touch the briefcase. I thought a majority of them got cheered. Like I said, I felt Shotzi got a big pop while climbing up the ladder. You know, Liv, Asuka, they did not want Lacey Evans to win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I watched that, and they booed the mess out of her. I mean, when I say boo, man, it sounded like it was 100,000 people. The way those boos were going. I was like, man, they really don't like this character. I think here's the reason why too. I really think they took too long to pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying? They had her do a lot of vignettes and a lot of promos and stuff, and it didn't make any sense of why you ain't put her in the ring after the second promo. After the second vignette, I would have put her in the ring already. But they had her do 3 or 4. Then they had her go on Raw. Then they take her for Raw. Then put her on SmackDown, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. So they like, man, we against this character, no matter how much you say she had a hard life. Man, as James Storm would say, man, that's your damn luck. Man, I see. You can't be over now. It's over. I think this experiment is over, and I think they should move on.
I almost thought they were gonna have a win it because since they keep doing this whole like patriotic, like sob story, Marine, and giving us like the Fourth of July
I
weekend
ain't
and
gonna even
stuff.
lie to you. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I really didn't have a favorite in this match. You get what I'm saying? But I damn sure didn't want Lacey Evans to be the person. That's all.
Yeah, because
And you could have gave me anybody else. I still, anybody but Lacey.
yeah, because the way they've been pushing her with this whole patriotic sob story thing, I damn near thought they were gonna give it to her just like I said because it's the Fourth of July and you know they're getting a little bit super patriotic and whatnot. I almost thought they were gonna have her win the whole thing, but I was glad they didn't.
Uh,
Uh,
they they saving that for the Great American Bash on Tuesday.
oh yeah, they got that show. So yeah, they got that one. They don't need it for Money in the Bank, even in Vegas. But this match though, Liv Morgan ended up stopping Becky from winning, and she won the Money in the Bank, which the crowd was happy about. Um, which I'm good with this decision in a way.
I'm good with it too. A lot of they got a lot. She got a lot of fans, a hardcore fan base out there. She really do, and I was cool with the decision. I didn't mind her getting in. It's a lot of women that was in that match that I didn't mind getting in. Actually, I ain't mad if Chassis would have did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You would have. If you would have gave it to Oscar, I would have mad. Um, I wouldn't mind with a lot of them except for Lacey. And a close second to that is Becky. I ain't want Becky to win either. And wasn't no point. Ain't no point.
yeah, she don't really
Real.
need it. She don't really need it right now. And we gonna get more about when it comes to the women's Money in the Bank because I got some things to say later on in this whole
Oh
thing
yeah,
when we get to that part
yeah.
because
Me too.
I've noticed this pattern for the past few years
A
now
few years, right? It's the same old, and I ain't really feeling it.
with the
Yeah,
women's Money
there's no
in the Bank.
storyline with
Oh
the
yeah, we
women.
gonna get to it. We gonna get to it.
I won't.
But yeah, like Liv winning, like I was cool with it. Like the match was okay, but it was just times where shit got kind of sloppy out there. So you know, we we gonna we'll get to that later on. But yeah, Liv winning, I'm cool with that. Next, Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Bobby Lashley, super over right here.
I mean, man, he is. I swear, I even think he more over than when he was as a champion. When he was a champion and stuff, when it was hard to, when it was hard to boo him, it was very hard to boo him as a champion. But I think he super exceeded that over. Like he is super over. Like I love the presentation they giving him. My goodness, I love that. Little thing they do with the little thunder and lightning and stuff.
Oh
It
yeah,
make him look like a Greek god out there. It looked like Hercules out there, Joe. So the presentation looked great. And, he looked great. This is man, Bobby Lashley he's in amazing shape for real. And I swear, Bobby by next year, by 2023, they'll get another title run. My God, I'll go up to Vince McMahon myself because he deserves it. Do you hear the Vince? You know, but this match was actually exceeded my expectation. Not by much, but man, I just thought it was gonna be okay. I'm like, okay. But actually, it was kind of more than okay. It was pretty decent. It was pretty good.
yeah, it wasn't
Uh,
bad out there. It was pretty good. It was entertaining. I damn near thought Lashley beat the brakes off of Theory out there several times.
man, my goodness, he was in control for some of like a nice part of that match. I was like, damn, he beat
He
the
was
best out of Theory.
ragdolling him. He ragdolled him half the time. He was beating the brakes off Austin Theory. Like I said, the fans was just super, super behind Lashley, which even like you just said, man, this guy's like he's above the U.S. title. I wish they had him in the world title picture right now, but we barely
I
got the champ
understand,
show. I get why though.
but this kind of they can since Lashley is over, the U.S. title is on Lashley, and I think he can really elevate that title. You could put more than just these, it, like under mid carders, like lower mid carders at him. You could actually throw people that upper mid carders or somebody like Seth could go for it. It wouldn't look out of place because it's Bobby Lashley versus Seth. And it ain't just a U.S. champion versus Seth. It's actually Bobby Lashley. And I really think that could really help the title. That
True,
title need help too.
it
Yeah,
really does because I will say between both shows, they do have both secondary championships, at least on some like stronger competitors out there that can help elevate it with both. Lashley is the U.S. champion and Walter is the
yep.
Intercontinental champion.
I was just about to mention Walter being over there at SmackDown at the Intercontinental Champion. And it's only two people that people know that you gonna push. See, we like the championships on guys like Ricochet or so, but we know what the WWE gonna do with them. So it's like it ain't it's not too much. We can't get too happy with it. You get what I'm saying? But with it, so somebody like Walter, it's a different story. We could get a little happy with it because we was like, oh man, it's on Walter. I know they gonna push Walter and they gonna make him look good. The same
Yep,
thing with Bobby
super
Lashley.
strong.
The same thing with Bobby Lashley. They gonna make him look strong. He gonna make him look good. Um, and we gonna see what he gonna go for his first opponent because I can't wait. And that's like kind of good for the U.S. title. You got somebody like me who wasn't paying no attention to it, now looking forward to it. Like, man, who is Bobby Lashley first opponent? Is gonna be because it gonna be somebody who, gonna be like a little big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You got a lot of heels.
that's true. So like, there's a lot of people that can be faced up against Lashley right now for the U.S. title. That can elevate it and whatnot. Because with Theory, like don't get me wrong, it's not like they didn't have people to face Theory for the title, but how many like strong faces did you really have to go against Austin Theory for the U.S. title?
Right. Compared
And
to how many strong heels that you got in the company that can go for the US title.
true, that's definitely true. So like with Lashley, like it worked, and like we just said, the guy was just super over, and they popped big time when he won the belt. Like they popped super big when he won the U.S. title, putting the Hurt Lock in Austin Theory. So like that was good. Like that was really good. Like you said, it exceeded expectations, and it was pretty entertaining out there. So we're gonna
Yeah.
see what happens next, and we're gonna get an Austin Theory later on in the show also, because trust me, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of different opinions on that. So we're gonna get into that part. Next was the Raw Women's title on the line. Bianca Belair and Carmella.
It was a subpar match. Solid. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Good
okay.
enough to just right. Good enough to get past. That's how I looked at it. You know, you know, I can't take nothing away from Carmella. You know what I'm saying? Would they need her out there? Would they put would they need her? Did she go out there and she do her thing? You know, we just know when you are plugged into these type of situations, people already know that you're gonna lose. So there's no point of us even giving you all of our attention. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what Carmelo falls in. It's the person that we anything happen, we need a backup plan. All right, Carmelo.
Because let's
Yeah.
remember, Rhea Ripley was supposed to face
Supposing. Yep.
Bianca, but Ripley got injured. So yeah, Carmelo was just a replacement. So in a way, it's like we all knew Bianca was gonna win, and in a way, you could somewhat look at it as a throwaway match and whatnot. So like, there was no question in Bianca ever losing. Like, yeah, she won KOD. That was it. I thought it was funny. Corey Gray said on commentary, "I bought 10 cases of Dom Perignon. What am I supposed to do with this now?" I thought it was pretty funny. He said that. He's like, "We were gonna
nah,
celebrate."
then you hear what he said. Oh man, Triple H told me this real romantic spot out here in Vegas. I bust up laughing.
Ah, okay,
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
I bust up laughing. I'm like, no, they did it. That was a nostalgic punch right there. But yeah, like I said, like you said, it was so part. It was, if we had a rating, it would be in a two, like a subpar below average match.
And I guess it's not over because Carmella did attack Bianca after the match, so I guess it's gonna continue.
Well, I give it two things. Oh, that was brave. I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of looked at it two different ways. I looked at it as your way, and I looked at it as a fake out, like a cash in fake out. Like everybody was going to be looking forward to Liv cashing it in. That if Bianca even looked at weak, because remember when she first would get it up after she got attacked, she would look all wobbly and stuff, but she looked like she couldn't stand on her own two feet. So you thought that Liv was going to cash in her money in the bank to win the championship. But once everything was done and over, everybody like calmed down a little bit. Like, oh, probably ain't gonna happen tonight because you ain't think about Ronda Rousey because you ain't think about Ronda being the one who gonna be get cash in on. I ain't think of it like that, so I really doubt that they were actually going to do some storyline with it. But we'll get to that when we get
Oh,
to
yeah, we
it.
will get to that because there's gonna be some things to say about that. But yeah, Bianca won. So we'll see whoever her next opponent will be. So yeah, the match was what it was with her and Carmella out there. Next, and I know they announced this on here. We've talked a little about this, and I've actually, I've talked to other people about this too, and it's been somewhat different opinions on this. But Logan Paul signed a contract with the WWE, and I guess he's gonna face the Miz at SummerSlam.
two people that people barely care about. You know what I'm saying? Now, this what you want to fill up your SummerSlam slot with? Okay, people were saying like my cousin last night was saying that he was hearing people go crazy. Like I know you were hearing people going boo, and I really think that it's done. You know what I'm saying? It's already done before it started. Real talk. I think this just gonna just fade away very slowly. I don't think Logan Paul gonna be any more of an attraction after SummerSlam. I think this is a waste of money, to be perfectly honest. I don't
And
think it's gonna put more views on the product. It's just not.
and yeah, I do agree. Because there's many ways to look at this. On one point, I guess if you want to say if it's good business, then maybe yes. Because don't get me wrong, I gave him credit at WrestleMania. I thought he did good at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
He
don't get me
wasn't bad,
wrong.
and I'm not taking away from that. It's just like, okay, you signed him now for multiple events. How many people are really clamoring to see Logan Paul like that? Don't get me wrong, he has his fan base. We know that. He's big on YouTube and all that stuff. But are a lot of his fans gonna come over and watch him wrestle in the WWE? I know they, I know they stuck around when he was doing all them, prize fight boxing matches, which, I wouldn't even call them real boxing matches. They were just basically money
But
fights, in my opinion.
but here's the thing, go that one though, right? Yes, me and you always call them prize fights because that's what they are. The prize fights. But here's the thing, they look at that in a better light than they put the WWE. They look at WWE as strictly phony, strictly fake, and like and nothing real about this. You know what I'm saying? Where they look at Logan Paul prize fights as, oh, I can see them getting legitimately knocked out. So it can't be fake. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they look at. That's the reason why they'll go there and watch that fight over they will watch the WWE match because they already know that the WWE stuff that Logan Paul doing is mapped out, planned, talked talked about it in the backstage, produced very well. They practice it in the ring for this match, so they know everything is predetermined for it. So they would come to the WWE and watch it because they just look at it as it's just phony wrestling, you know.
Yes, and I kind of said this before. Is he really going to make a difference, whether it be viewership or the ratings really going to rise because of him? Like I said before, are people really going to clamor to come see him? Because I kind of take what CM Punk said about them in the past, both the Paul brothers, that they've basically used old school wrestling heel tactics to draw in as many people as they did with those prize fights they were putting on and stuff. So don't get me wrong, I'm sure the dude's getting paid a shitload of money just to do some matches and whatnot. But it's like you said, is this a really good investment? Like I said, it's not like he doesn't have a following. I get it, but is he really gonna draw people in, to watch this? Because we've seen them on Raw, we've seen him get booed out the building, and stuff several times. Because even at WrestleMania, remember people popped for Miz when he hit him with Skull Crush finale. A lot of people say that's heat and whatnot, but I mean, other people said it's been like go away because people know that him and his brother are basically assholes and stuff. Because like I'm not really sure what they did on YouTube. I just know they're big on YouTube, but I've heard more of the controversial stuff with Japanese suicide forests and you know being at the riots like a couple years ago where it's like people question it's like why y'all out here, y'all got money, like y'all need to be out here. And it's like I hear more controversial stuff about them than than what they really did on YouTube. And people didn't want to see him. Like we can go back on several of the Raws. Like they did not really want to see him out there, and he was getting like major heat from the crowd.
Yeah, so it's a kind of wait and see type of situation. Let's see what's gonna come out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I don't really want to see him in the Miz at SummerSlam, anyways. But they gotta go back from what happened in WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens. But it's like I'm not really clamoring to see that match. Next, for some reason, they had Alexa Bliss, talking to the doll, doing a
Oh
credit
my
card,
goodness,
and by God, did the crowd booed that second.
man! Because you know why? You want to know why, Bryce? I already think you know why. I think the viewers look at that as this is just pure advertisement, pure product placement. You just purely just try to advertise to me and make me spend my money. Because here's the thing. We know the game. We know the game. We ain't stupid. But here's the thing. For her to walk in, it looked like she would cut it a promo, but after cut a promo, then all of a sudden, oh, Lily, you bought all of this with your Capital One credit card, WWE Capital One credit card, and then how she held it up is
That
just
was like some
like
advertisement commercial.
I look like nobody holds the credit card like that.
They don't.
And
And
so I
that
was just I was kind of flabbergasted, bro. I was on the floor.
that just pissed off the crowd, and they just buried that whole segment. It's like, what was the point of this other than just selling a credit card? Because
I was like,
and even with Bliss, and I've seen people kind of say this about Bliss right now. Some people believe she's just phoning it in right now.
yeah, I see a lot of people saying that. And I mean, not even a lot of people. I only really see one person on my timeline said that. And I totally disagree with dude. Because here's the thing, those matches that she doing, it's actually decent matches. She not don't look like she phoned it in the matches. Cause she actually put it in the work to do the matches. It ain't her fault that they keep on seeking her with the dog. What you expect? They want you to if they want her with the dog.
The doll is just basically there to sell merchandise. Like,
Of course, but what you expect her to do if they want her with it? Like not not pay attention to it, not sell it, not hold it. If they want her with the dog, then I don't see I can't see it as her fault. I really say it's WWE fault. It's
apparently,
still
the doll makes a lot of money, to what I've heard.
yes,
People buy it.
it does. It
Apparently,
does. And it makes a lot of money.
because
But
and I think I may know what you're talking about, but yeah, I've seen like some said like she's just coasting into her contract runs out and stuff, and not even trying, because basically they've changed up her whole gimmick. I don't know why they gave her that new theme music. It's like they should have just kept the old music, but I've seen this a lot of people just feel like she's just kind of coasting it until her contract runs out, and then she'll just, I don't know, go on tour with her acoustic, whoever the dude she's with right now. That, I mean, he's some musician. I don't know.
her husband, yeah, her
Yeah,
husband.
yeah. I don't know what he really does. He's just some acoustic singer or something.
Yeah, he's some type of yeah.
I just know he
I
knows
ain't
Miz.
never heard of dude, but you know what I'm saying. But
I just
I
know he knows the Miz.
yeah, I think that's how they end up meeting
Yes.
through the Miz.
So yeah, some people believe that she just kind of coasting until it's time for until she leaves, because they just feel like, well, she's done everything already. She don't need to do nothing else. Like, some either gonna blame her or just the company of how they're pushing her right now. It's not like they haven't pushed her to the moon before, though.
Yeah, I mean they man. Here's the thing. When they did push her to the moon, everybody cried about it. They
Yep.
stopped doing it. They been stopped doing it. You know what I'm saying? We talk about main event picture. She haven't been in the main event picture in years. You get what I'm saying? I can't remember the last time she was in the main event picture. I
Champion.
mean, legitimately, the world champion, not just the tag team champion. So
Yeah,
we
the
talking about
actual match
legitimate
champion.
world champion.
Hey,
She haven't been in.
cover it real quick. I'll
What
be
you
right
say?
back. Hey, keep going. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I haven't really seen her in a world title picture in a long time. So I can't really say where we going with this. Like she not being pushed. What her matches go like 3 minutes. It's all because of them. It ain't like she wanted to just go out there and just wrestle for 3 minutes. So I can't really put it on Alexa Bliss. What but yeah, that commercial that was basically what that was. A whole commercial inside the pay per view. Yeah, that was yeah. The crowd did feel it. They went to boo it. Yeah. I hope they don't do that ever again, but they going to.
But yeah, that was a
We
pretty
all
cheap.
remember the we all remember the KLC commercial, so we.
But yeah, I'm back. I know I get what you're saying, but yeah, like you said though, like I said, she's been the champion, but it's not like she's been the champion in a few years. Because let's remember before they made her in Bray Wyatt 2.0, and like you said, tag team champion. So it's not like she's been, back at the top of the mountain again and whatnot. So she hasn't been there for a while. And like I said, people have already, they just feel like now either she's not really trying out there or the company ain't pushing her. Because I don't know. I just know she just comes at the double at this point, and it's supposed to sell, but I don't really know what her gimmick is at this point. Because I'm like, once they kind of changed the whole music, I'm like, what is she supposed to be again now?
I don't know what the gimmick is, uh, but I always it thing with Alexa Bliss. Like you know, I think she get a lot of flack for. She actually a good character. When you get her the ball, she runs with it. It ain't like she ever fumbled the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I just really think like would she would be a better person to call upon than Carmella. You get what I'm saying? When you need that person, you can call upon Carmella, but I think you could do it better with Alexa Bliss because I think you can call upon her and she'll knock it out the park more than Carmella can. But yeah, that commercial was trash, straight up.
Yeah, yeah, it really was bad though. So I don't know what the point of them was showing that. Next was what do we have next? Usos
The
versus
time,
Street Profits for the tag titles.
oh man, hey, my favorite match of the night. My favorite match of the night. Those boys knock it out the park. Man, those boys should go. All four of them. They could actually go at high. They knocked it out the park. That was one of my favorite matches of the night, and I really was feeling it.
Yeah, it started off kind of slow, but it really got going a little bit later on, and the crowd was feeling it then. Like this was a very good tag team match. Like I enjoyed it a lot. Did I think the Street Profits were gonna win? A little, but I didn't think they were gonna get it all the
They
way
had
yet.
like
But I feel like I
before the
know when they
match.
will get it though.
Before the match, I thought they were going to win. You know what I'm saying? But after I mean, not. Let me take that back. Before the match, I did think they were going to win. Of course, I just felt like the Usos were going to continue their reign. But during the match, I thought they had some chances. I like, oh my god, this when they gonna do it? Especially when they hit that splash, and I ain't see Jimmy nowhere for a minute. I'm like, oh man, they about to win for real. Then that's when Jimmy came in and headbutt um Montez, got him off of Jay. I was really feeling this. That was a really a close match, and did it with the dusty finish. You know what I'm saying? They got a little screwy finish going on right
Yep,
now.
Montez's
They,
shoulder was still up.
I what I've been hearing is that was actually an audible, and Stephanie kind of saw it already, and audible straight out like, hey, show that on the screen, you know, because it was actually a legit botch.
Yeah, because you could hear Montez right after saying, like, why y'all stop the match? Why y'all stop the match? Why did it stop? And then that's when they
You know,
showed the replay and his shoulder was up.
and so that was a good job by Stephanie. If that's the whole reports are true, that was a good job by Stephanie. Looking at that, and make it an audible, and make it us the viewers look like, oh, this is going to go on a little further. Probably SummerSlam. You know,
I definitely
so
believe
yeah,
SummerSlam, I think they're going to win the titles.
yeah,
SummerSlam, I do believe the Street Profits will win. So this was a good angle right here to continue on, and it'll go into SummerSlam. Then I believe they will win the tag team titles. Because I saw a lot of people said, like, so basically John Cena fed them some bullshit, whatever advice he gave them about this match.
Oh no, he gave us some good advice. They got to capitalize on the advice.
I thought it was funny
I'm
some
not.
people saying that.
I'm not. I can't win the match for you. All I can do is just advise y'all how to win. But that was an excellent match. I mean, man, for real.
Very
That
enjoyable tag match. That was like one of the best things of the night. Like
yes,
that, I really did enjoy. So yeah, I give it to SummerSlam, and I think the Street Profits will win the titles. But yeah, they got an angle to build off on going into SummerSlam, which is later this month, by the way. 2 pay-per-views in the same month.
yeah. Like man, luckily niggas ain't we ain't paying for it. You get what I'm saying? We ain't out here paying 40 a pop for these pay per views, because one of these pay per views will have to take the back seat. I think Money at the Bank would have took that back seat over SummerSlam if we were
True.
paying $40 a pop.
I would have been watching that shit for free anyways. I know
Yeah,
way. But but yeah, same month, because even I was like, SummerSlam's in July. I'm like, I thought it was in August. So I
man,
was kind
that's
of
what it
surprised.
usually be.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I thought that's what I remember. Like, I could have swore SummerSlam was in August, not at the end of this month. And I'm like, 2 pay-per-views in the same month, July. I'm like, okay, um, we'll see where that goes. But that I was kind of confused when I heard it was going to be later in the month, though. Next, we did have a video. Basically, how can I say this? What was in this video? And I've seen a couple people try to look at the Easter eggs for it, but the whole dark imagery thing, almost like some Bray Wyatt Undertaker type
I thought
shit.
it was.
I was kind of
I
thinking it was
thought it
Bray
was.
Wyatt, but then I saw a gold medal in, and maybe I was like, Gable Stevenson, and I'm like, nah, could be, but I don't think so. But then some people said like you saw one of Jeff Hardy's arm sleeves. Somebody pointed out, and one of the Dudley's glasses, and then it was like a license plate that had Latino heat on it.
Man. So and that's what everybody started speculating. It might be Edge.
I was thinking that because yeah, now a lot of
But
people this may be an Edge return promo.
if it's another character, man, my God, this is 3 characters in 1 year.
The Edge is
Because
yeah,
you got to remember, at the beginning of the year, he was just Edge, where he was going against the Miz and Maurice, and
yep, radar
he was
superstar.
just rated R superstars. He was Edge. And all of a sudden, he just went to Spooky Edge, Undertaker Edge. Then he get kicked out of his group. Now if this is true, if it is Edge, and then he comes back as another character, I'm like,
Or
I
he'll just be
I
regular Edge again.
Well, with this promo, I mean, man, I mean, with that little vignette, I don't know. You know, you probably thinking it's just, you know, it's probably another character because a lot of people, you know, looking at it like it could have been Bray Wyatt, and then we saw the other imageries and stuff, and we like, nah, Bray Wyatt don't have nothing to do with Latino Heat or no gold medals.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
when I
like,
saw the gold medal, that's where I was thrown off then. Because at first I was like, Gable Stevenson? That's what I was thinking at first when I saw the gold medal. Like, I know it's not going to be Kurt Angle. It wasn't that, so I was thinking it was going to be him. So it most likely could be Edge. Because I think it could be him. Because if it's somebody different, then I'd be very thrown off if it was someone different. Get what I mean?
yeah, I feel you.
So yeah. So we gonna see whoever this mystery person is coming in, but yeah, it most likely could be Edge. Next, the SmackDown Women's Title on the line. Natalya, who came out as Bret Hart, even though she's a heel, but giving kids sunglasses because it was Bret's birthday yesterday.
Right, I know, understand that. Like, Why are you doing this? Like,
I'm like, isn't
look,
she a
I
heel?
understand. Right, she straight heel, and she over here giving the kid sunglasses and high five with the kid or something. Like, are you serious? Why
I'm
are
like,
you
wasn't she
doing
a
this?
heel for the past few weeks now against Ronda?
And like that was confusing right there.
And yeah, she went against Ronda, which I'll be honest, I hope I don't even want to see another Ronda Rousey promo, because oof, that shit has been.
I mean, the last couple of promos when she went against with Natalia had was dressed it up as Ronda and stuff. But when she came out, that was a heat. That was a heated promo. So man, I really thought that was a decent little promo that she did against her. But
Look,
other than that, like, you know, like this
you're
past
on ski.
Friday, this past Friday, it was like she was kind of dry with it.
Yeah,
You know,
the delivery was dry. You know, my kid's 10 months old, not 9 months old. You ought to know that your math isn't good.
like, but if she would have came out with that same type of intensity as she did with Ronda, I mean with Natalia was dressed it up as her and talk about the baby and stuff. She killed it with like, oh, I ain't recognize you without your rack out. Oh man, that was a banger line right there. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Even
And
on Twitter, I thought they had better promos on there. I mean, on
yeah,
Twitter, especially Natalia calling out Ronda, calling her like a farm conspiracy theorist.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that was good. That was really
but
good. I thought that one was funny. I think the Ronda promos are hit and miss because we've seen some bad ones saying like you're on skis. I'm like
yeah,
on skis. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, that's all, like you said, that's all you say at the playground.
but like I said, like man, actually, the Twitter war what really brought it to life because when they were going back and forth on Twitter, I'm like, oh man, they actually going back and forth on Twitter? Like, oh, okay.
It was actually working, and so like that looked better than some of the promos they were doing out there on TV and stuff. I thought the Twitter stuff was actually pretty good
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like Ronda can be hit or miss, or sometimes some of her promo does come off very dry, or she's just trying to like jumble words together sometime because she's like, I'm gonna face you for this title, the SmackDown Women's title. Why do we even call it the Women's title? Because it's the women's division. What the fuck you mean? Why do we call it the women's title? It's the goddamn division. That's why. So it's hit or miss. Now this match. Who did the crowd fall flat for this?
I I would kind of disagree because
I felt they were pretty flat throughout damn near the whole thing. And it wasn't
Uh,
bad. I didn't think it was bad all the way. I think, I mean, cut you off. I just don't think people ever really believed Natalya was ever gonna win.
yeah, of course, nobody believed that. Nobody believed that. But I think like certain parts of that match, especially when they were going for the submission reversal, the crowd would pick it up because remember that part when they was on the ring apron and the Ronda kind of reverses
Yeah, I remember
the
that part.
sharpshooter and hit her head against the ring post. I really think that was like the turning point of that match right there. Then they went into the submission reversal. They were kind of smooth with the submission reversals. That was very smooth. Every reversal they would, I thought it was done. And then Ronda tapped her out, stand it up with the arm bar.
Armbar. I
Uh,
feel like maybe the spot they were in also right after the tag match.
that was
Um,
I mean, who thought that tag match was gonna be that? You know what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be a good one, but I didn't think it was gonna be one of the best matches of the night. You know, I didn't think that was gonna be it. But I man, Pole Ronda, Pole Natalya, and the Street Profits that also killed it.
yeah, and like I said, they were in a pretty rough spot, and that's why I felt like this was the flattest the crowd was the whole night. And then right after Ronda, retained the title, Liv Morgan comes out, and that's when the crowd woke up again. And
Yeah,
they booed at
they
Ronda
don't
the minute she put an ankle lock.
because they thought they were. I don't think they were bored at Ronda specifically. I think they were bored at the situation and Liv tap out and wasted this money in the bank. We'll be mad. They would have been mad the whole night, to be honest with you. But actually, Liv got out the ankle lock, kicked it in the leg, in the bad leg that she was injured, and rolled her up for the pin. And 1, 2, 3.
Yep, and Ronda basically, shook her hand and hugged her. And do you think Ronda's face, run has been really good right now, or do you think she just go back being a heel? Because some people have
Nah,
not
the
really been
face.
feeling the Ronda face thing, and now she's more of
I
a
don't.
natural heel.
Well, here's the thing: they don't have nobody for her. It's like there's nobody believable that she could go against that we could believe. Like, oh yeah, she could beat Ronda Rousey. So that's really like kind of mess up her run. And so she not really a good promo. So it's like she not gonna get you hyped up for the match. We know you're gonna have good matches, but being hyped up for the seeing the matches, we not. And like I said, the people that she going against, um, right after Charlotte is Natalya. I respect Natalya. She a good hand, but when it comes down to like have a believable match that you go win the title, nah, I don't believe that.
And it's like what the commentary brought up with that interview Natalia has done. Didn't she say she's been called a company girl?
What you say?
Like that interview Natalia did recently that the commentary brought up that she's just the company girl, you know, being a good hand.
Yeah, she is. She just really is. And whatever the company need Natalia to do, she will do it. And that's not a good. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's how she stayed around all these years. Being a
Yeah,
good hand.
she's still here, so you know, it's worked for this long and whatnot. But it's like you said, nobody ever really believed she was going to beat Ronda for the title and stuff. So, like I said, what other heels could you have gone on to? And she already beat Shotzi on SmackDown. So, what other heels was she going to face after that? And as for Liv Morgan, yeah, I brought this up earlier about the Money in the Bank with the women. Here's the thing with this. For the past like maybe 4 or 5 years now, it's like whoever in the women's division wins the Money in the Bank either immediately cashes it in later in the night or the next night on Raw. And it's been going like that for the past 5 years. The last woman I think that held the Money in the Bank for a minute and didn't cash it immediately. I think it was Carmella.
Yeah. and I was thinking that too, and I was just thinking like, why do they do this with them women? It's like it's a immediately they cash in, they have a good run, a good 2 months run with it, and then they dropping it, and like that happened to Nikki Ash last year.
Yep, had it for like
Um,
a month and it was gone.
on and I hope that don't happen with Liv because like I'm not the real biggest Liv Morgan fan, but I love the Money in the Bank, and I don't want it to be diminished off of just a cash in, then you only hold the title for like a month or two. So I really, hope that she have a nice little run with it. Her fans are hoping that she have a nice little run with it. You know,
Because you don't want to wait till SummerSlam and then she just loses it there. Then
right,
because it's like I said, for like the past few years now, it's like somebody either cashes it in on the same night or the next night on Raw, and then they just end up losing it by the next pay per view.
yeah. So it's really nah, it's really not. It's not a good look on a company that look like it make you look like you're not really having no long term booking plans for your women. So it's really not a good look.
That's definitely true. So like I said, I've noticed that pattern in the past few years. So we'll see what happens with Liv, but it's like like you said earlier, I figured that cash in was coming anyways, especially how long commentary was talking and how Ronda was trying to get up. It was like, yeah, it's a cash in about to happen. So you kind of saw it coming. Like I said, the crowd was happy for it with the cash in and stuff,
Right.
but you just kind of wonder how long is Liv really about to hold his title now? So it kind of makes you wonder sometimes, especially the pattern of how they've done the women's Money in the Bank in the past few years. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But now we have reached the main event, the
Yeah.
Money in the Bank men's ladder match. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle, Madcap Moss, and a mystery person at the last second, which Adam Pearce came out, and it ended up being Austin Theory. And I'm not gonna lie, this low key ruined my bet right here. And I kind of figured what the writing on the wall was gonna be because even my friend Gerard was kind of pissed off because it threw him off with I guess he was using the DraftKings thing, and this really threw him off right here in the main event once they added Austin Theory, and even I kind of knew what was gonna what the writing on the wall was about to be with this match because yeah, let's just say I know everyone's not here right now for this, but it's a lot of different opinions. I know even myself with Austin Theory winning this match and whatnot. But I think this wasn't bad though. There was a lot of cool spots. I thought they
This
made
was a lot of carnage.
it was carnage,
And
all right. Um,
and that's what I liked it about it. It was like I you know,
it,
I I look at it as safe carnage. Like they was actually looking like they was, it was a lot of safe spots out there, even though they looked brutal. It did look like people were badly hurt. I put it like that.
true. Cover real quick. I gotta check the door. Keep going.
But yeah, it was a lot of spots that made me think that Riddle was going to win the Money in the Bank. I didn't expect Drew to win the Money in the Bank. I didn't expect Badcap or um anybody else, Sheamus. I really thought it could have been Riddle. And once they had a mystery opponent, I thought it was gonna be him. You know what I'm saying? So whoever it was gonna be, I really thought it was gonna be a person that you know deserved the Money in the bank and needed it more than anybody else. Drew don't need it. Sheamus don't need it. So I really think that was it. You know, but it was a good match. I think the second best match of the night, to be honest with you. It was the
Um,
main event.
true.
I and so I didn't really mind Riddle winning the Money in the Bank. I mean, not Riddle. theory. Because here's the thing: if like somebody on Twitter says, if WWE want to be the really hate this nigga, they did their job because we don't like him at all, and him winning the Money in the Bank, phew, made everybody mad. You should have saw everybody was just so heated about that.
Yeah, because like even when he loses, he still wins and whatnot. And you remember what they said on commentary? They said, Vince McMahon was able to get him in this match at the last second and whatnot. And
I
it's like,
mean, what you were saying?
no, I'd say like, you remember on commentary, they kept saying Vince McMahon was able to get him in this match.
I mean, yeah, and that's it, been his whole character. You know what I'm saying? Been getting help from Vince McMahon, and I I don't mind it because it's a heel thing. It ain't like you pushing a face down our throat. You got heels doing heel things. Um, Speaking of, since we on the Money in the Bank and everything, I wanted to ask this question because I kind of posed this question to my cousin and my brother last night. So with the Money in the Bank, I understand when you cash in anywhere, anytime, and
Can you
win.
repeat the
You
question?
can
Because you kind of went out for a second.
nah. I saying the question right now.
Oh, go ahead, go
With the
ahead.
Money in the Bank, I know you can cash in any place, anytime, and and win the championship. But do you think that should face, people who are baby faces? Should you think they should just be running in on other baby faces or even heels, just running in, cashing it in while they all injured and beat up? Like, do that make you look like you are a viable champion? If you try to push a face, like if you try to push a heel, that's some sneaky stuff to do, and you can get booed for that. But I think we got used to having faces do that, especially when CM Punk did it some years ago. Dolph Ziggler did it some years
Yeah.
ago. Just recently with the Men Money in the Bank, Big E, did it some years yeah, a year ago,
Last year. Last year.
right? And so it's like, do the face do do that make the faces look kind of weak a little bit? Like, even though it is a contract that you can cash it in at any place, anytime, but I don't know. It's like I think the cashing it in any place, anytime. I really think it kind of good for the heels. I think when it comes down to like remember when Rob Van Dam did, he let Cena know like, hey, I'm coming after you. This is the pay per view. I want it at this pay per view, and I want a match with us. It wasn't just like, oh man, waited till Cena was injured, then you know Rob Van Dam cashed it in. But that's my question right there. Do it make the baby faces look weak?
Um, that is a debatable question. I wouldn't per se it makes them look weak. I know it's the whole, like I said, it's the picking a spot thing, especially once the champion, whether they be a heel or face, and then they cash in on them. Because we've even seen heels get cheered out there for cashing in on faces. We've seen that in the past too. So I wouldn't say it makes them look weak. Maybe because we've seen it so many times. Without, it's like I said, it's not like with RVD telling you ahead of time. Hell, it's not like with Cena. Cena did that. Remember, he told Punk he was gonna cash it in ahead of time, and I'm telling you the date of when it's gonna be cashed in and whatnot. Instead of just doing hey, wait till the champion is down and pick my spot in, and now I got the title and stuff. So I don't know if I would really say it makes the face look weak, especially going at a heel and whatnot. Because then half the time we usually get a rematch right after that. Then once the face beats the heel. 'Cause like I said with Big E, you remember last year, Bobby went against Randy Orton, and Bobby won, but he was still kind of down and out. And then Big E came in and took down the vulnerable Lashley at the time, and that's how he won the title. So
I would like to make a comment on that one too. When you just mentioned that, and see, and you remember how that went. Remember, Bobby came out and said, "Hey, you would have did that if I was 100%." So they had to go at it again at a cage match to make Big E look strong. Where I think you could have eliminated all of that, and Big E just challenged the nigga in a cage match and say, "I'll cash it in on this Monday Night Raw in a cage match." And have him cash it in then. I really think that could have eliminated all of that because the heel would justify, like, oh man, you would have never did this if you know if you never if I wasn't
yeah, yeah,
injured.
yeah. If
And,
I wasn't 100% and stuff, and you make a good point right
uh-huh.
there, because like I said, this happens a lot when the faces do, cash in on heels. It's gonna be some rematch right after that, because it's like, well, you didn't beat me 100%, so I demand my
Hmm.
rematch clause right now, and that's what usually happens, and it's happened a lot.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's happened a lot. So I get where you're going though with it. It's just like I think because it's been done so many times. I don't I just like I said, I don't wouldn't say it makes them look weak because then right after it, even though it's a rematch, the person that already won the titles end up going to be winning anyways and whatnot. Whoever just cashed it in and stuff. And to answer the other question, I don't know if it wasn't a question, but just kind of going back to the match for a second, um, with everyone out there, is like you said, like they made Omos look strong.
Oh
They had
man, yeah, that was a good job making Omos look strong.
and
Actually,
finishing best
Omos
on
looked good at that match. He did the spots that he has to do, and he did look bad doing those spots.
because they even had to. He was like throwing everybody around, and then they had to bury him in the ladders, and then everybody hits their finisher on them. And then they all pick him up, like a long dart, and put him through the table to put him down and stuff because it was like the giant in the match and everything, and like that was good. But like other stuff, they even sent Pete Dunne out there and whatnot, and
The crowd popped for that,
they did pop for that, and then Drew just Claymore kicking him and
and he
stuff
just making it look good. I swear. Hey, congratulations to Drew for making Omos look good too, because the little spots that they had together, he made Omos look like he was just beating the mess out of him. And so
Oh
I,
yeah,
I really like that,
and even when
about Drew.
Omos Omos kept getting hit by finishers, notice how he never fell off his feet.
There we go.
It-
You just wanted a rare time that the big man could fall off his feet. You don't want it all the time. So it took a lot of people beating him up. They throw a lot of ladders on him. And he was like a Jason character. It was like he was like Jason out there, and you wasn't gonna kill him. Every time you thought he was gone, that man came back.
that's definitely true. So it's like he just kept rising back from the ground and everything. It's like how do we put this guy down and stuff. So like that was like the case behind that. And kind of speaking on the match itself, I think a lot of people in that crowd, and even myself, I thought Matt Riddle was gonna win the Money in the Bank, given the whole story of trying to get payback on Roman for what they did to Randy Orton and all that stuff. I kind of thought he was gonna win the whole thing. That was my original thing because I'm like I knew that Seth wasn't about to win it again. He didn't really need it. You say Drew don't really need it. Sheamus
Yeah,
don't. Um, Madcap Moss I already knew he wasn't gonna win. Um,
yeah.
Sami Zayn, and And my friend Gerard brought this up to me last night. We was talking about the show, and I thought this was a good idea he put up with Sami Zayn because he's doing the whole I'm part of the bloodline, I'm an honorary Uso and all that, and if I win Money in the Bank, I'm just gonna hold it and that cash it in. But it could be like a like a double turn and whatnot that Sammy's gonna keep holding it until he just double turns on Roman and them, and then
Hello? Hello?
when everyone's down. I thought it was kind of a interesting idea he put up for me there.
I would agree. Just what I would take away from. Now, we know the Roman Reigns character. We know he a gaslighting dude that just manipulator. Nobody go to cheer that. Nobody go to cheer that. We know what he do. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's different if Sammy would do it against somebody that you could turn face. But Roman character, it's going to be hard to turn him face. To be honest with you, like yeah, he over as a heel.
Yeah, that's true, and I think
And
because like it's gonna be hard to turn him to a face. I think the only time he was kind of somewhat of a face when he was facing Seth back at the Rumble, because it's like it was justified because Seth did turn on the Shield, and he finally got his payback on Seth for what he did to the Shield.
yeah, that's about it. Like right now, it's gonna be hard to put him as a face. Right now, it's like I just can't really see it, and I can't really see people booing Sammy for it you know um, because he turned on Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I I I I can still see people cheering that Sami Zayn won his first world title. So yeah,
That's true, and with Austin Theory winning, like get it because given the gimmick and Vince's, that's like his protege in a way right now because some people feel like the match was going to happen with Cena at SummerSlam, which I don't really think it's happening now because and I discussed this with some people. They just kind of feel like yes, they're pushing Austin Theory big time. I don't think it's the Roman push though, like straight up to the fucking moon because
it's actually gradually.
Roman he lose, but not as much.
You get what I'm
Like
saying? I
barely
think
he
it's
lost.
gradually. I
Go
think
ahead.
they gradually pushing Theory. You know what I'm saying? They not pushing them down our throat. It's
They
actually
are.
like they take it
Some
baby
people
steps
believe they
with
want him to
Theory.
be the next Cena.
I
Some
mean,
people believe they want him to be the next Cena.
he not gonna be a face. And here's the thing: he could be a face probably years later after he makes a good run as a heel. But to turn him face, we already know what y'all trying to do. Man, then you try to make him the next Cena, the next Roman, and all that stuff. Like, nah, this ain't it. That we not gonna receive that well. So we gonna end up booing them and booing the characters. And he just gonna go through the whole Roman Reigns thing if they trying to put him face.
Because I'll take this quote from my friend Steven, like we were kind of going over it when it comes to Theory. Because some people believe, is this the guy you really want Cena to put over though? And whatnot. And like, Theory's good.
Yeah,
I'm not going against it
I
and whatnot,
mean,
but it's been debatable. A lot of people feel like, Cena they think Cena be wasting his time by putting him over and that bringing him, especially if like I don't think the match happened SummerSlam now, but if that match was going to happen, some people feel like Cena should have been saved for a bigger thing than putting Theory over. Like I already give you an idea like in the past of what they could have done with that whole idea is now kind of been dissolved now.
here's the thing. Like I can see Derry being a big deal, and I think Derry is up and coming. So to make him feel like that, of course, Cena, you gonna have to have the Cena match. Like, how long we gonna wait to make him feel like a big deal? How many people that he gonna have to beat? You know what I'm saying? To say, oh man, he's a big deal. Like if now, to be honest with you, now him having the money in the bank, I don't even think he about to go over on Cena. I think Cena gonna come in, they gonna have a match, and I think Cena gonna win because now Derry got the money in the bank, so he don't really need to win. To be honest with you,
Yeah, and we
I
can't
think
just keep bringing Cena back to lose.
right. So I think Cena's gonna. Um, I think because of that, I think Cena's gonna win.
Because I,
And
I
I
would think
don't think
Cena over. Because like, go ahead. Because I was gonna say like, do you think Theory would cash in at money at SummerSlam?
um man, that's to be the best thing because it's a last man standing match, and both competitors will be badly hurt and badly injured. You know, because it's a last man standing match. But that would be the best part. But do you want him to cash it in later on in the month? It ain't even a month later. It'll be later on in the month. You know that he'll cash it in. You know, I wouldn't I I wouldn't be mad at it if it did happen, but I would just like to have a better cash in, a better storyline with our cash ins now instead of just being a person. I mean, being so um like so quick to pull the trigger all the time.
SummerSlam may be a little bit too predictable right now.
Yeah,
You get what I
that's
mean?
why I think too. Yeah, that's why I think too. So yeah, but I'm not mad at Theory winning the Money in the Bank. I just yeah, I just wish they would have did better with the women Money in the Bank instead of having her cash in so soon all the time.
True. Yeah, I'm a little bit 50-50 on the Theory thing. Like I'm not mad at it all the way, but like it's like one of those debatable question type of things and whatnot. I feel like I definitely agree with you on the Money in the Bank with instead of rushing it so fast and
Yeah,
whatnot.
and I definitely feel you on that one.
I think the Profits and um and the Usos was one of the best matches, and I really did like the Lashley and Theory match. That's probably one of my
Yeah,
favorites throughout the whole night.
my favorite was the Usos and the Prophets. They really tore the house down. They delivered. And like you said, with the Bobby Lashley and Theory, that was like a under underground gym. Like you didn't even think this was going to ever, have a good. You ain't think they were going to have a good match, and they actually had a good match.
That's true. That it ended up being pretty. It was what it was.
Yeah,
Like, get what I mean?
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So like I felt it was kind of I thought it was kind of flat, but overall it's pretty good. I think it's kind of funny. Money in the Bank. Kind of funny that them and UFC booked the show the same night.
Yeah, I heard.
Because my friend was watching the UFC show, and like a couple hours later, next thing you know, Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie, and Pat McAfee in the crowd. Like right before the main event, they showed them, and Tony Khan and Jr. was there too. Because I looked it up and I forgot the dude's name, but like, did you see him do the Undertaker entrance?
Uh,
Yeah, you got to look that up. I forgot the guy's name that was fighting in the main event for UFC, but he did a whole Undertaker entrance with the hat and the urn. He didn't have the coat, but he had like the whole entrance going on.
oh, hey, that was kind of good. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, so it wasn't. It was actually pretty good. It wasn't that. Yeah, um, yeah, because I think one thing I also brought up. I know you said I gotta check it. Yeah, there were some points I couldn't hear you in the thing. Also, like I could hear you, but it's like you kind of lagged out for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it happened the same thing. So like to answer your question on that, there was like you like I could hear you like you were talking, but it's like you kind of it's almost like it kind of lagged out for like a few seconds
All
until you
right.
like you came back. So like it wasn't that long, but it's like a few seconds though. But I understand your question. One other thing I want to ask before we go, and you said this on Twitter, you wanted to speak on the whole Forbidden Door and blood and guts thing real quick. You wanted to say something about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick. Forbidden Door. For the wrestling standpoint, I did have a problem with some of those matches, but most of those matches I didn't have a problem with it. And so, but I really had a problem with they promoting. How they would present these stars, New Japan. Like you know me, I'm not a real New Japan fan. So I know the big stars and stuff like the Okada, Tanahashi. You know, I know about these guys and stuff. Ishii and so I heard these guys' names so many times. But how they kind of presented them, I didn't like how they did it. They kind of like New Japan kind of got the short end of the stick here, and it was like we were supposed to just know who these guys was, and that wasn't fair to the New Japan guys. You know, uh, um, yeah, the Forbidden Door was just an okay pay per view. I think with the injuries, it kind of messed up the pay per view a little bit because CM Punk gone, Daniel Bryan gone, then MJF he not injured, but he just not there. So it kind of a lot of things that kind of messed up it throughout the pay per view. But yeah, that's how I felt about the Forbidden Door.
It it was a fun show. Like, I agree with everything you just said. Like I said the same thing too in my review. Like, I feel like a lot of these guys could have been presented better. I think video packages would have helped instead of just giving us like a 20 brief like explanation from them by Excalibur. And I feel like yeah, they could have been presented better and tell us who these guys are and what they do, and at least show some footage of who they are. I think they just expected us to know who everybody was by default and assume that everybody watches New Japan when everybody doesn't watch New Japan like that. I get it's a hardcore fan base when it comes to AEW, but at least kind of tell us who these guys are and what they do and why are they such a big name and stuff. Just like don't throw them out there and expect us to know who the fuck they are, and then people don't know who they are then and stuff, and you wonder why the reaction you get unless they really follow New Japan like that. And like you said, it was a lot of injuries and people being off the show at the last second that did hurt it. I do agree with you. So like it was still good, but it really could have been better if it wasn't all like the people going out the last second or injuries plaguing the show. But like it was still fun. Like I said, I was there last Sunday, so like me and my brother had a good time and whatnot. They still kicked some people out of that building for fighting though. That was funny. Hey, they like, man, you spent how much money? You got kicked out the United Center?
Right. I would spend that much money to go act a fool.
Yeah, and it was the main event when it happened, but it's like Like folks tried to swing on security and shit, and it was like 3 of them because they was hold Buddy by the neck, and he started swinging on him then. So I thought that was funny. One other thing I'll bring into the door real quick. Did you see any of the media scrum?
I didn't see none of it. I didn't see none of it. I heard about the hug. The hug heard across the world because that was
That looked
like what that was just so awkward. What else? I heard Moxley speaking to a
there was a kid reporter there.
Yeah, and my goodness, my God, he could have said all of that in 5 minutes, but he stretched it by saying like it like 5,000 times. Yeah, and it's like this, and yeah, like this, and I'm like, come on, Moxley, just get on with it, man.
To the
Like,
point.
yeah, that was just so. It was horrible to listen to that. I could not listen to that more than 5 minutes. I forced myself to listen to that. My goodness, boy.
I listened to some people review the whole media scrum thing online, and I thought it was hilarious. Whatever they were talking about, like either it's like they were trying to answer a question without actually getting the point, almost talking for like 10 minutes long, or Tony Khan talking about the music and how the music was leaked when it wasn't supposed to be leaked for like FTR, and I'm like, well, where is this going? Like the Moxley thing, that was hilarious. And I thought it was funny. I damn near wanted to spit up my drink when somebody brought up to him that Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay was match of the year. I was like, who the fuck who are these people asking these questions? I can't watch these things sometimes because it's like, dude, I swear all of them are on the fucking payroll and they're gonna ask like the softball questions to Tony
You're right.
Khan.
They gonna lay up. They gonna do the layup questions. Like we don't want to. We don't want to lose our assets to Tony Khan. That's how the whole thing is. Like we don't want to lose this ability to talk to Tony Khan and have uh, have his quotes in our papers and some or in our reports.
Oh, dude, they're on the payroll. That's why they're on the fucking payroll. I
That's how
believe
they feel.
I believe they're on the payroll, and it's like Meltzer and them. They're on the payroll or whoever's on
But
YouTube being biased.
to be honest with you, I kind of look at it as like how everybody else treat, like all the media treat all the basketball, football people who they want to keep in contact with. They don't want to lose their assets, so they're not going to give them the hard questions. They're going to give them the softball questions. Cause they know if I even try to challenge him any day, he'll probably say, "I don't want this guy back in the building. Or I don't want to speak to this guy anymore." And so it's like that's how it is with all the media. I'm telling you, they everybody gets softball questions, and the ones who get the hardcore questions, they usually not the guys who people want to talk to.
That's true. I feel like the only somewhat tough question they tried to ask him was about MJF, and they just glossed right over that.
Right.
And
It was like you're right. It wasn't even like it wasn't like a question that that needed to. I mean, it was a question that needed to be said, but they didn't. It was how they phrased it to make it seem like they wasn't trying to be malicious with it. Like, oh man, it's like I forgot how they phrased the question, but it was like I just saw it as like they was afraid that Tony Khan might, be mad at them when they asked this question, if he asked this question.
that's true. So it's like like he's gonna like just gonna go dance around and just kind of like gloss over in that answer it. But it's like even with just some of the questions they did ask up there, and like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing. I heard some of it was pretty funny, and I heard Jay White was pretty good. But it's like they'll ask him a question like Tony Khan, and he's just probably gonna dance around it without ever really answering to the main point. This wasn't another one of his like you know rant like thing, like talking about the fake Friday Night War and all that stuff. That even though that shit was hilarious and whatnot, it's just like a lot of it is just like dancing around and questions. Like I can understand why I know some people that won't watch this stuff because it's not like they're gonna ask the tough questions. But it's like you said, the people that are in there probably want to still be in that whole access thing so they can be there and they don't want
Mm-hmm.
to piss them off all the way. I just think some of
Mm-hmm.
these things was just kind of funny though, especially when I heard the whole Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay. I'm like match of the year. I'm like, hey man, if you liked it, okay, but don't sit there and I'm sorry, like
Hey, that's a lot of people
that's
who
reaching for the
pushing
fucking
it though.
stars. That's reaching for
There's
the
a lot of
stars.
I know, and it's the crazy part about it. A lot of people were pushing that, like, hey, that's good. That Will Ospreay and Cassidy to be the match of the year, and I'm looking like match of the year. Come on, man, and see, this is the whole narrative that I get mad at all the time, and you can't talk to AEW fans about it. Like y'all try to push Cassidy down our throat and try to make me believe that this guy is just great wrestler, good gimmick, and all that stuff. Like he not okay. He really not. I I just think he was blessed to be in there with a couple of good guys that make him look good. And last Sunday he was in there with one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Will Ospreay. So of course he was gonna look good. Will Ospreay can make a broom look good. Like,
That,
come on.
that's true. And I've always said before when it comes to Cassidy, it's an acquired taste. I just think it's the gimmick that really gets me. I never said he couldn't move in the fucking ring and all that stuff. It's just like, why should I take this guy seriously with the guy with the hands in his pockets? But apparently it's Tony Khan's favorite guy over there and whatnot. So he's
Yeah,
gonna
that's what I've
push him.
been hearing for years now.
He's gonna push him every chance he gets. But it's just when I just kind of heard, I'm like match of the year. I'm like, what now? I damn near had to laugh at that, and because I guess somehow they gave him music, and then it was a whole thing on that. But yeah, I couldn't tell, like, hey, if you want to like the match, go ahead. I don't care if you like it or not. That's your opinion. But it's like I'm hearing match of the year. That's when I got called bullshit then on that. So like that's my take on it. But it's like you can't really watch these media scrum things. Like you have to take it with a grain of salt when watching it because it's like answering the question, but kind of like never getting to the point. And like so I've already seen some people review the whole some of the media scrum thing, and it wasn't really that good. Just a lot of, like I said, softball questions and the Tony Khan hugging thing. That I ain't gonna lie, Okada looked uncomfortable when he was getting hugged up. Okada looked so uncomfortable. I felt bad for him. Like you just go
Cause
back and
they
look at
don't
his face.
embrace. You gotta remember the culture, the culture differences too. On top
Yeah,
of that, I had to remember when we were talking about it. We was like, he looked so uncomfortable. I'm like, yeah. Then when I went home and I had to think about it, like, hold on, time out. That's another reason why he looked uncomfortable. Cause the culture differences.
that's true.
Like they don't embrace each other like that over something as simple as a simple match. Like it has to be one of the greatest matches out there, or one of the biggest stage, and it had to be a great moment for you able to see those Japanese guys embracing each other like that. Not no regular old fatal four way. Like, yeah, it probably was a big stage to you, Tony, but not on Kata.
And don't get me wrong, like trust me, when I was there, Okada was over as fuck. Okay, he was probably one of the most over people. Like when he
Don't get
came
me.
out there, crowd
I
went
heard the pop.
ballistic.
I heard the pop, and don't get me wrong, but I just said like the moment will probably be bigger to Tony than it is to Okada. I don't think that was a huge moment for Okada. You know what I'm saying? I don't think
I,
he felt like it was a huge moment for him to even be here. Like, okay, AEW, whatever. That's how I felt like how he felt. Like, okay, I'm in America and AEW. So what?
I think and I'll say this for Okada, I think he probably may have was kind of still kind of happy out there in a way too, because he probably kind of, if for once in a while, hear the crowd reaction, because right now in Japan, they can't really, make a lot of noise and cheer like that due to COVID restrictions still over there. They can like clap hands and make some noise and they still pop at a time, but like it's kind of been a while that you kind of seen like guys like Okada and Tanahashi get like, big fucking chants out there in a while. I'll say that. Hear the crowd.
I understand
But
what
I
you're saying.
understand, but like I can understand your point about the match, but I feel like like Okada looked really happy out there, especially to hear a crowd reaction a while as big as this.
Right.
'Cause Japan is still trying to work through their shit right now. There's small times when they get some like big pops and and whatnot, but like I said, due to still I believe COVID restrictions over there, there's only a limited amount of noise they can really make over there right now.
But yeah, um, that's about it. What I have to say about Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
Forbidden Door was alright.
it wasn't bad. Like I said,
Uh,
it was cool. Like I was glad to go. It was cool to see some of the people I don't really get to see live, especially the New Japan guys in person.
right, right. I understand, and like especially those guys. That's like a once in a lifetime type of moment. You already get to see them like that. That was money well paid. You know, I feel like that was good. Good money well spent.
Yeah, and like I said, I had a good time, so it was definitely fun, and like I said, I still enjoyed it and whatnot being there. And, Claudio, Big Pop, and everything, but like it could have been better if it wasn't for like some of the just some of the restrictions, or not restrictions, but injuries and some people not making the show. But it was still cool to see some people out there. Like, come on, I was glad to see fucking Sting wrestle live. So, uh,
Right.
that was definitely cool to see. Now you say you had some thoughts on Blood and Guts real quick, also.
Well, I felt like I felt like I was getting myself ready because I was telling my brother before the match was going to happen. Was I was like, well, let me get myself ready for some crazy outrageous things. I just think like since they do a lot of things, when it comes down to the gimmick matches, they feel like they got to take it up a notch over the last gimmick match. Like, okay, the blood and guts, we had somebody fall off the top of the cage. Oh man, it looked bad the last time when Jericho do it. All right, that do it again with Sammy Guevara and make it look better. It's like some of the things is just I'm just not feeling it sometimes. It's like it's unnecessary. I feel like some of that stuff is unnecessary. The people who needed to bleed didn't bleed at all, and I don't care about um Mac Daddy or whatever his name is bleeding. That I don't care about that nigga bleeding. Like I would have been. It would have been better that if Chris Jericho would have bled. And it's like some of that stuff didn't make sense. Like Jericho did tap out to Moxley. Claudio tap what's the name out? I forgot the name. But
It was
Menard.
yeah, the Everrise guy.
He tapped him out. That what like a blood and guts is supposed to be to me, it's a gimmick match that's supposed to be a blow off between two teams. Like these two teams been going at it. That blow off the feud with a blood and guts match, and that should be y'all last match. Like now y'all making it seem like these niggas gonna have another match. Like I don't want to see one. I really don't. And hopefully this is the last. But man, that was just too much. It really was. I
I
just felt like it was just I couldn't get into it.
I thought it started to drag after a while, and it had its it had its hot spots at several points, but it was starting to drag several times within the match, and I
I,
thought it was just kind of getting ridiculous once I saw the thumbtacks.
yeah, I thought it was going to drag a lot when they were climbing up the cage. I didn't understand that. I'm like, oh, okay, this is just going too far now. Can y'all just pick this up and end this match already for real?
I yeah, I do agree. I thought everybody was about to climb the cage at one point. That's what
Yeah,
I
that's
thought.
what I.
They were gonna
Yeah,
climb.
yeah, that's what I thought too. After a while, like, man, dang, who is it going to be? The whole six? I mean, whole 11 guys up there because the 12th man Santana was legit injured, so it's like all 11 men is going to be up there, and they gonna be fighting up there, and like it's just too much. Um,
It was getting ridiculous to me when they start rolling around the thumbtacks and you know all the just crazy glass and forks and spikes, and it's like, okay, where is this really going now, and stuff. So it's like, people will say War Games did a better job than this NXT.
yeah, and they don't even have plugs.
Yeah, and yes, that's true. And given that the show is called Blood and Guts, I get it. Like I do, but it's like you said
Yeah,
about like at the wrong people bleeding out there. Shit, Moxley
yeah,
bleeds damn near every damn week on this show. Like
right. It don't even feel special with Moxley bleed. We
yeah, they
just
did the
expect
Forbidden
it.
Door, and I thought that was ridiculous.
Like we just expect him to bleed every match, no matter how small of the match is. He could just be jobbing somebody out. You know what I'm saying? He could just be going against a jobber and he end up bleeding. Like, come on, man. You just went against a jobber for 2 minutes. How you start bleeding now? Yeah. But yeah, Moxley is it don't feel special when he started doing it anymore.
And
To be honest with you, they do a lot of blood spots. It started to not to feel special at all.
that's true, because like somebody ends up being in some gimmick match all the time on this show and bleeds regardless, almost no matter who it is and whatnot. And it's like I said with Blood and Guts, and even kind of connecting to the Forbidden Door a little of the overlapping of how long this feud as it went on. It's like, one thing I'll kind of go back on real quick. Like I told you, I didn't like the ending to Forbidden Door because they were like, it's like you're how can I say this? You're pushing an angle on pay-per-view to lead into a match on free television.
Yeah, and I ain't like that either. But here's the thing: why? It's like that's not even a feud that people look forward to. Like that's not even a main event feud. They got the main event champion in a group, but it's not the main event feud.
Yeah, and Danielson's hurt right now, so he's not there. And you got Claudio in this whole mix and being in the group, which hey, the minute he gets here, he's already thrown into a group and
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't understand that. To be honest with you, he's not gonna do anything once that happens.
I don't know
You
where
know what I'm saying?
everybody's using the word game changer again.
Oh man, they can quit that word. Oh, this ain't it must be a new word that the wrestling fans to the community came up with now because they need to cut it out because I don't think he's gonna be a game changer at all.
And I like him, but it's like game changer now. Like I don't know about that. Like because they say everybody they keep bringing in is a game changer. Like okay, Danielson is a game changer. Okay, Punk is a game changer. But like every former WWE guy ain't gonna be a fucking game changer.
Right, and they should know this. Like they should know who's gonna be the game changer, who not. You know what I'm saying? Like you could call somebody like Joe. When he comes back, he can actually be a person who could change the game because he a legit guy that you believe in. You know what I'm saying? So you can't call nobody like Ruby Riot or Soho, whatever you want to call her. She not a game changer. I don't think none of the women who came from the WWE to AEW is like a legit game changer.
Athena.
No, not to say it like that, but nah, she not. She
and
just not.
and folks still really believing that Sasha Banks about to go over there, which I do not believe. Like I really don't. And honestly, I don't
I
think
heard that she
Sasha
was
can stay
spotted.
in.
I heard that she was spotted in Las Vegas last night.
Oh, really now?
Uh-huh. I heard that she was spotted in Las Vegas. And I heard Charlotte was spotted in Las Vegas.
Like they were at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view?
I heard they no, I just heard they were spotted in Las
Oh,
Vegas.
they just around
But
Vegas then.
but here's the thing: it would be no coincidence. I mean, it would be a coincidence if like those two girls that's at Las Vegas where Money in the Bank is at. That can't be a coincidence, you know.
That's true. That's true. Cause like right now with the Sasha thing, like I don't really say much on it because it's like I don't really think she's gone until I kind of hear from an official thing that she's gone. So that's why I don't really speak on it that much. Cause right now I believe everybody think that she is gone. I don't think this is another CM Punk situation all the way. When come on, we remember how that whole thing went when everybody was playing the guessing game, wondering if he was still signed with the company and that, and we saw how long that went.
I don't think it's that situation. I just think it is another Sasha Banks situation. Yeah, she did this before, but we'll see what's going on with that. I just don't ever think she's going to ever be all elite, ever, ever, ever.
Yeah, I don't think she's going, and like me and other people
And
have
she
discussed
wouldn't even
this.
fit. I'm sorry, the people might get mad, but here's the thing: she won't fit. She just
They
won't.
they'd have to pay her a lot of money. Shit, they probably have to put the title on her immediately.
It's, yeah, I can't see her going against Britt Baker. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
no.
I couldn't see her going against Nyla Rose. I just can't see her going against CP. So I don't think it would be a good look for her to go to All Elite.
And even with the division right now in the AEW Women's Division, they still ain't really got that together all the way right now. Out of a couple people, like the division's still really not there yet.
No, it's not. It's just not. It's been 3 years now. When it's gonna ever get there?
And I said this, I'll just say one last thing when it comes to Forbidden Door. Like, when they threw Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa, I think that was a very bad position to put them in. Wasn't a bad match. It's just nobody gave a shit.
Right. And here's the thing.
Niggas went to the
I think
bathroom.
the build. I think the build to it, Bryce. I really think it hampered the feud because they barely interacted with each other, and when they did interact with each other, it was Thunder Rosa coming to save Tony Storm. Then they have a stare off. Like that's not building a match. When they gonna interact with each other, when they gonna put hands on each other, like something gotta give. And that was a horrible build to that match, and it made everybody not care about that match.
And they just
And
did the
on
same
top
thing
of
on
that,
Rampage the other night. They just did the same thing. Like,
yeah,
make a save and stare at each other for a second.
and that was. And speaking of Rampage, that was a bad main event for Rampage because nobody cared about that match. You couldn't
I,
make me care about that match.
yeah,
Eh,
I was halfway paying attention to that. I was watching Against All Odds. I was watching Josh Alexander and Joe Doring. So I
I
went back
was.
to watch an Impact show.
I couldn't believe that was their main event. I'm like, come on, man. I would have rather y'all put the Young Bucks on the main event instead of D2.
Or do the Royal Rampage Rumble thing in the main event. Because
Yeah,
I
that
barely
could
had.
have been a main event. Yeah,
Yeah, that really could have
actually.
been the main event. That was your whole thing. I was building on upon. So
To
they
be
could have did.
honest with you, I would have this how I would have booked that book brand page. I would have put the Young Bucks first if y'all wanted a banger, if y'all wanted a match that wake everybody up. The Young Bucks go first. Then I would have put Tony Storm and Lana Rose in the middle and ended the night off with Royal Rampage.
Yeah, that's better
That's what I
position.
would do.
That's better positioning them. Start off hot and kind of cool down, then kind of get back hot again.
That match would oh no, that match would have cooled it down.
Oh, it would have cooled
That
it down.
match would have oh my goodness. That was a horrible match too. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
Like I really didn't care that much, and like I said, I was halfway paying attention. I just went back to watching Against All Odds. So
I'm telling you, Bryce, you did the right thing because I just looked at like, come on, who is believing this? I can't believe this. I just can't believe Tony Storm is doing any type of damage to this person.
It just didn't look good and didn't look believable. And it's like, are we gonna do another match with her, Thunder Rosa again? I guess so. I guess that's gonna happen or something. So it's like I just didn't care. I didn't care. Like, and it's like I told you, even when they had the match at the Forbidden Door, I tell you, when the minute they came out, folks went to the bathroom or they went to get something to eat. I saw people leave.
Yeah, and I can imagine. Cause
So
I don't think
they was
I
gone.
don't think I was. I don't think I would have did. I think I would have went to the concession stand or something.
Yeah, cause I saw folks that when I looked around, folks got up and they left for a minute. That was that was a bathroom break. They left. Trust me, that was a very rough spot to put them in. And yeah, nobody didn't care. So like I'll tell you that firsthand. Like I saw that myself when I looked around. So that's one thing I can confirm about that. But like other than that, did you watch Against All Odds? Before we kind of get out of here.
No, I did it. And actually, I'm going to do that after we get off, since I don't have really nothing else to do. I don't
Gotcha.
have nothing else to do. I go see if can I go back and watch the stuff? Oh,
I'll
that
send you a link. I'll send you a link.
all right, cool. And I gonna do it since everything is freed up.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good show. I'd recommend watching it. It was actually good. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll definitely send you a link.
all right, cool. That'd be good.
But other than that, though, I know we went a little bit long here, but it was, like I said, you wanted to discuss some other stuff other than Money in the Bank. Other than that, the Money in the Bank review and just a couple things after, just kind of shooting on some of the other shows real quick. Before we got up out of here. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodNight890. 9 times out of 10, we probably will be back later in the month, maybe for another joint review, depending on how many people it will be for SummerSlam.
Yeah, that gonna be for sure. I know we're gonna do SummerSlam. I already know that.
So yeah, you got anything to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter, straightface40. Yeah, that's about it. My name is Kyle Coleman, and just follow me on Twitter.
So yeah, other than that, we are out of here, and we will be back for another joint review later in the month, and we'll see how that goes. So like I said, have a safe and fun holiday weekend out there, and peace out. Blow some stuff up. Fireworks, I guess. Trust me, I wish I had money to blow stuff up right now, just for the fun of it. I just like blowing stuff up. But yeah, other than that, peace.